Power levels are bullshit. You know it, I know it, and anyone that's ever been a part of this community knows it. So I must ask, why do us as fans insist on making up these hypothetical numbers for these fictional characters even after so many years? Well, your guesses are as good as mine, and if I'm being honest, I have no idea. But man, is it funny to watch those maniacs try. Anyways, in this video, I'll be trying to do the impossible by answering the question, what is the Super Saiyan God multiplier? Or at least finding a reasonable range. Okay, so a few things before we start. 1. Everything within this video is purely speculative, as we truly don't have any actual evidence on what the Super Saiyan God multiplier is. However, the conclusion that I reach by the end of this video is done with the use of statements within the Dragon Ball Z and Super manga, anime, and movies, as well as extremely detailed theories from other fans within the community that were just as crazy as me. So feel free to comment what are your theories for what the Super Saiyan God multiplier is down below. But with that out the way, let's dive right in. Transformation multipliers within Dragon Ball are forms/techniques that augment the user's strength, speed, defenses, perception, and reflexes by a multiplicative number. The Kaioken, Super Saiyans 1 through 3, and hell, even Super Saiyan Blue to some extent, all have a definitive multiplier. The Kaioken ranges from a 2-time multiplier to a seemingly infinite multiplier. However, Kaioken times 20 is the furthest we've ever seen it used in canon. As for the original 3 Super Saiyan forms, Super Saiyan 1 is a 50 times multiplier. After that, Super Saiyan 2 is 2 times that of Super Saiyan 1, which makes it 100 times stronger than the base level of the user. Moving on, Super Saiyan 3 is 4 times that of Super Saiyan 2, meaning that this legendary form sits at 400 times the user's base strength. As for Super Saiyan Blue, it's literally a Super Saiyan God going Super Saiyan like the original name implied, meaning that it's 50 times stronger than Super Saiyan God. Now out of all of these, the only multiplier that I'll be using in order to find our answer, or at least get as close as possible, will be Super Saiyan 3, and to some extent, I guess Super Saiyan 2. Alright, so the first place that we need to look for any useful information is, no surprise, 2014's Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. Here we learn a key detail about Super Saiyan God that clues us in on where the bare minimum for the multiplier is, and that is simply that Super Saiyan God Goku is stronger than both Gogeta and Vegito before they gain access to God Ki, obviously. As we see Goku state that there ain't no choice but to merge with Vegeta, is there? No. Even at that, I doubt I'd be able to beat him, showing us that even if Goku and Vegeta had fused, it wouldn't have been enough to take on Beerus. Now the thing I see a few people question about Goku's statement is whether he was referring to a Super Saiyan 3 fusion or not, which if I'm being honest is a pretty stupid question. This is because of one major reason, that being that for Goku to consider fusing with Vegeta and then realizing that it wouldn't have been enough, he would have had to take into consideration that the fusion would have done everything in its power to win, and even with that it'd still lose, meaning that Gogeta or Vegito would have definitely used Super Saiyan 3. Now with that out the way, the second place we need to look for any useful information comes in the form of a question, and that is, what is the fusion multiplier? Or more specifically, what is the multiplier for the hypothetical Super Saiyan 3 fusion that Goku was referring to during the events of Battle of Gods? As finding out how much stronger these two would be in comparison to Goku and Vegeta will give us the bare minimum for how much power Super Saiyan God provides. Now remember, we're just trying to find out what the multiplier is, not the exact strength of the fusion, and in order to do this, we need to first know what the fusion formula is, and from there we can plug in our data. To find this formula, however, it is a bit tricky as it too doesn't have any official statements, but unlike Super Saiyan God, there are a few things that actually point to what this formula might be. From what I can gather, there are a total of 2 statements that can be used when trying to figure out how fusion works. The first being this panel right here that briefly shows Goku explaining how the fusion dance calculates strength. As you can see, he says the following: you can only do it with someone around the same size and power, but when they do it, they become way stronger than the sum of their parts. Now what does this tell us about the fusion formula? Well, if you look at the last part of the sentence, we see Goku use the word sum, and in the world of mathematics, the word sum means the total amount resulting from addition of 2 or more numbers, amounts, or items. What this tells us is that the formula includes addition. However, it doesn't end there, as the way that Goku words this implies that there is more than simple addition happening when the fusion occurs, as he also says that they become way stronger than the sum of their parts, meaning that the fusion is stronger than the added strength of the fusees. Now the question is, what exactly happens when the fusees' powers are added together? Well, the word stronger than tells us that either addition or multiplication is happening, but in order to find out which one is being used, we need to look at the second statement, which can be found in Dragon Ball Super during the events of the TOP. Here we can see Vado stating the following: the new body and personality born from a Potara fusion are greater than the sum of their parts, and their power increases tens of times. Now if we break this down, we'll find exactly what we're looking for within the last part of this statement. You see, unlike Goku, Vados clearly states that the power increases tens of times, and if we look at the phrase times, we can see that it implies multiplication multiplication is being used due to the word times typically meaning multiplies by. Moving on, the last part of the formula that we need to find is the number that will multiply with the sum of the few z's, and if we take another look at Vadas's statement, we can get our answer. The phrase tens of usually means 10 to 99, as the phrase hundreds of usually means 100 to 999, and the phrase thousands of would mean 1000 to 9999, so on and so forth. You get the point. What this tells us is that the sum of the few z is multiplied by 10 if we're lowballing and 99 if we're highballing. In reality, it probably falls somewhere in between, but for the sake of simplicity, we'll just use the lowball example for now. So with this information, we get the following formula: max few z a plus max few z b times 10 equals base fusion. Now something that should be noted when breaking down this formula is the word max. I've seen a number of people say that this means the maximum strength of the base few z, not taking into consideration any of their transformations. However, I have to disagree, primarily due to 2018's Dragon Ball Super Broly and Kefla vs God Goku during the events of the TOP. You see, in both of these instances, the base fusions are able to perform feats that the sum of their parts could not, even in their highest transformations, and might I add, with extreme ease. Example 1, base Kefla embarrassing God Goku, whereas before Kale and Khalifa were struggling to keep up. Example 2, base Gogeta easily dodging and deflecting all of Broly's attacks whilst laughing, whereas before both Goku and Vegeta were fighting tooth and nail to survive. These examples point to the base fusions being far stronger than their few z's, even in their strongest forms, while fighting alongside one another. Because of this, I believe that the max within the fusion formula means the maximum strength of the few z's, transformations included, as it will make these feats make a lot more sense. Moving on, all that's left to do now is to plug in the numbers, and since we're looking for the multiplier for this hypothetical Super Saiyan 3 fusion, we don't need to take into consideration any wonky or imaginary power levels, as we'll just be working with confirmed multipliers. Alright, so at this point in time, when Goku mentions this fusion, the highest form he could use was Super Saiyan 3, which we know is a 400 times multiplier from base. And if we look at Vegeta, he maxed out as Super Saiyan 2, which is only a 100 times multiplier from base. Now if we plug these numbers in, we can get our final equation, which is 400 plus 100 times 10, which when solved gives us the number 5000. This lets us know that the hypothetical base Gogeta or Vegeta would have been at least 5000 times stronger than the sum of their parts. However, we're not done here, since we still need to find out how much stronger the fusion would be using Super Saiyan 3. So by simply multiplying 5000 by 400, we get 2 million, which is absolutely insane, as this means that the Super Saiyan God multiplier is casually reaching these levels. Now the thing is, we know for a fact that God Goku was far stronger than this hypothetical Super Saiyan 3 fusion, but trying to figure out how much stronger is the problem, as there is not a single thing, and I mean a single thing, that gives us an inkling as to how much stronger God Goku is compared to this fusion, which is why it's damn near impossible to find an exact number. However, one thing that we know is that at bare minimum, this form's multiplier is at least 2 times that of the Super Saiyan 3 fusion. This is because of one factor, that being that God Goku would absolutely demolish this fusion without even breaking a sweat. And in order to completely dominate another fighter in this series, you have to be able to emit ki at least twice that of your opponent. So taking that into consideration, the absolute bare minimum for the Super Saiyan God multiplier would be a 4 million times increase from base. And there you have it. Now, do I believe that this is a concrete answer? Absolutely not, as trying to find out where this form lies in terms of power is damn near impossible, even when trying to use information within the series and confirmed information outside of it. There are just too many variables, but it doesn't stop people from trying, as it is a pretty fun endeavor. Anyways, what are your thoughts on this guesstimation? Was it too high? Was it too low? What do you think I missed? And what are your headcanons behind the Super Saiyan God's multiplier? With that being said, I'd like to thank everyone that watched this video. I hope you have a great day. Peace, peace, deuce, deuce.